Thank you.
So, I don't know how much you guys can hear here in the studio, but it sounds really loud here. So, yeah, so that's just a little jam using all of this gear together. But I would also like to show you an example how you can incorporate, for instance, a DJ set. So I have my Ableton session right here, and I would like to synchronize that as well. So we have a DJ set in Ableton, and these machines synchronized on top. So basically what I want to show is that you can be more creative as a DJ. Instead of just playing records, you can actually add your own music on top, which is quite cool. So here we go.
I don't get DJs. They're like, I don't understand DJs. Like, they're getting Grammy at that age. Like, the new music, I don't understand it. It just, to me, it's just a guy maybe playing his iPod with like a mouse head. I'm like, everybody's losing their mind. Like, I don't see where the talent is. No, they blended the song, man. Two songs and blended them.
Yeah, so you're not like that.
Well, all you gotta do is find two songs at the same tempo. Two. That's like you're driving down the street on the highway and you see another guy going as fast as you, and you're like, how's he doing it? You want to go 57 too? That's incredible. I'm sure.
So that's one way of doing it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Nice seeing you. Oh, still playing. So, yeah, that was actually in honor of Mr. Jefferson here. I used a lot of old school retro sounds from like.
So how has that changed from when you were in the studio and you came home with all your equipment from the record, the guitar shop?
I only used 2 pieces of equipment. I didn't use all that. I mean, he much more proficient with it than I was. I mean, with I didn't know how to really use things that like the TB303. When I made a song called "I Lost Control," the bass line that I came up with was because I didn't really know how to program it. So, so the result was, you know, like kind of a weird.
Yeah,
thing.
actually, the TB303 is quite notorious for being difficult to program.
Yeah.
So how was the difference now between the new equipment and original analog 303s?
Well, there's a huge difference. I mean, of course, we have all those classic sort of features and functions and sounds, more importantly, but also we've added a lot of new features and new functions. So basically, you can say it's like a TB303 that's a lot easier to program, and on top, there's a lot of other stuff added, like live effects and randomizing functions and lots of sounds, and it's basically really inspiring stuff to play with. You can just make a groove in just a few seconds, and if you think it sounds too stiff or something, you can just press two buttons and it will randomize the groove for you and sort of scramble things up and automatically make it cool.
Do you think it is a little bit too easy then to make music on things like that? Anybody could pick it up. Does it take away that creativity? You know,
It's supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be easier. You don't want to make things more complicated.
Yeah, I mean, the essence is still within your ideas, so it's not like anybody else is doing the job for you, it's just that it helps you do it faster. And I think that's the whole point.
So it increases that productivity and more people can get involved, more people get an output, more people get switched on to music.
Yeah.
Is that what I'm saying? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, of course, you can randomize a song if you want, but it's probably not going to be very interesting.
Okay. Right, what we're going to do now is we're just going to open it up to the audience, talk about your performance, talk about Marshall, anything, questions for Marshall. So, have we got a show of hands for people with questions for the panel here tonight? Somebody must have a question.
This always happens.
There's always one, isn't there? I can pick somebody if you really want. Come on, somebody must have a question. No? Great. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about what you were doing there on that production, because you use an Ableton. Ableton is a sequencer.
Yeah.
You know, students at this college use Apple Logic as well as Ableton. What do you think the difference between the sequencers are nowadays? So you've got Logic and Ableton. You're obviously using Ableton there.
Ableton is basically, I mean, it's a step away a little bit from the linear, typical type of recording. It's more about chopping things up and making your little puzzle of different beats and grooves and such. And it's also really cool for MIDI functions. If you make a MIDI clip, which basically means, you know, I'm controlling something from outside. It's very easy to even change the sounds with the clip or change the effects with the clip. So that's what I'm doing with my TB3s, for instance. It's automatically changing the sounds for the right bass lines and stuff as soon as I press that clip button. So I think that's it's kind of a good match, the Ableton and Aira series.
Well, I have both of them. I like Logic better. I actually prefer Logic, yeah. Ableton had a much steeper learning curve for me, personally. Logic was pretty much more straightforward, and the instruments were easier to access, the effects easier to understand. So I pretty much went with Logic. I bought both of them at the same time, but it was easier for me to get into Logic.
Yeah, I guess it's just it's a matter of taste as well.
Yeah.
I personally feel the other way around. I find logic very complicated. I mean, not the basics, but yeah, more of the special
Well,
features.
using it at that level, yeah, yeah. I mean, it would be much harder to do that in Logic than Ableton, I would imagine.
Yeah, okay. Right, we're just
Especially on the fly like that. You can't do that in Logic on the fly.
Yeah.
No, could you do that in Logic?
No, not really, as far as I know. I mean, the whole point with Ableton is to do things just you know, immediately within a bar or two. Just add a little riff or a little drum loop or something, and just have it there, sit there in the mix immediately in the loop.
Yeah, on the fly.
On the fly, yeah.
On the fly, Ableton beats Logic, but as far as like doing proper mixing, I think Logic has an edge, and I think Ableton is it was a lot more memory intensive than Logic too. Okay. Like I could get like over 100 tracks on Logic, but Ableton, same computer, once I get into like the 40s, you kind of really pushing things.
Right. Now you use it. How often would you go using sequence?
Probably. So, yeah. That probably.
To mess.
No, not. It's usually work defined usage.
Did you ever practice? Did you ever take time to practice, play with the instruments, play with the equipment that you got, or has it just purely
Never
been
practice?
No.
No, I just like, you know, I get the groove down and that's it.
But I think you mentioned earlier about starting with the end in mind. You always seem to know where you're going to go, and because you mentioned about people, I know that they're going to get paid this, paid that. You seem to be somebody who works with the end in mind. So going in and being focused is a good trait to have. Yeah. Right, okay, we're at the end of the show pretty much, but during the last 6 weeks we've had a competition running with Loop Masters, with Marshall's Loop Pack, like I've mentioned earlier. Now, we've got 3 prizes to give away. Now, they're digital downloads, so don't be expecting big boxes or anything like that. But I'm going to mention 3 names, and I'm going to call out the people that have been selected as winners by Marshall early on today to come up, and we'll do it in reverse order. Got the names here. If each of you could make your way up, have a handshake with Marshall, but the photographer who's around, we can get a shot of that as well, and then take a sit back down, and we'll close up this show. Okay, so the first person in 3rd place is going to be Mikey Daly Ray. Maybe a round of applause. So Eleanor's going to come and just take a shot. If you can just. Well done, Mikey. Wes, go and lock. Big round of applause.
This is really close, man, between 1 and 2. And I'm telling you, it was really good stuff.
Thank you.
And the winner, Mr. Will Graney.
Good job. That's really nice.
Thanks.
Right. One big last thank you, please, to my guests here today. We've got David and we've got Marshall. A really big thank you. I think you're both an inspiration to our students here today. So one big round of applause, please. Thank you very much. Cheers, guys.
Thanks.
That was brilliant. Thank you very much.
Cheers, man.
Right, we're going to have
Dave.
a 5-minute break.
Good to see you again.
So, and then Dave is going to do.